Hi, I'm Tom Lomsdalen, and I'm the product manager for WATS. And I want to show you a little demonstration of our product. So WATS is a software that allows you to plug into any kind of test systems. It's a plug-and-play integration with Testan, but we also have LabVIEW toolkits and .NET APIs. And you can make custom converters to collect data automatically from test machines. And the main purpose of WATS is to collect all this data to one central server and perform analysis in terms of SPC, yields and trends quickly through your web browser. If you look at the reporting tool of WATS, it's a web-based application allowing you to log in and quickly get information about the units you have tested. So this view will tell you a list of the serial numbers, the part numbers that was tested, and in what date and time, and the status of the tests. And opening one of these reports will show the detailed reports with the header details as information about the unit tested, the operator tested, when it was tested, and then all the step details. So for instance, if you log data from TestStan or using a Procket machine from Espotel, this will automatically report data to the WATS server. Looking at a product and test deal allow you to look at data in a higher level overview. So instead of looking at individual reports, we can go and see what is our production data for a period of time. And in this case, I'm looking at data from 2012, and then the product and test yield report will then list up all the part numbers that I have tested within this date frame. So the part number list, what revision in what test operation, and the software used during testing, number of unique units tested the first time, and number of unique units passed the first time. So this gives me a first pass yield of 73%. WATS can automatically recognize the first pass yield, the second pass yield, meaning how many units passed the second time you tested a unit. But if you look at the first pass yield here, it's telling me that 220 boards or so fails the first time. So the next thing I will do in WATS is to drill down to the test step yield and analysis report, and then WATS will tell me which test step is causing the poor yield. So this Pareto here will show me the top 10 failed steps. So it's not one or two steps that are significantly failing, but it's a number of 10 or so steps causing the poor yield. The list below the Pareto will show all the executed test steps and all the different statuses. So this is the total run, number of failures, number of errors, number of terminated, and so on. But going back to the top 10 failed Pareto, for instance, the read dollar plus outputs is one of the steps that are failing the most. So if I drill down and click on this link, WATS will now show a trend graph with all the numeric measurements for this one single test per serial number over time. So in this view, we see the test limits used during testing, the measured value per unit. So if I hold the mouse here and scroll in, I can see the serial number of the unit, when it was tested, and the measured value. I can also filter out the measurements. So allowing me, one thing is to use WATS to look at the trends and see why it fails in a certain test step. Another thing is to use WATS to optimize the test limits. So if we look back in this report, if I remove all the measurements that are failing, we can see that we recalculate and reschedule, reprint the report. And then the upper and lower limits are still the same, so it's between 14 and 16. But we have removed all the failed steps, meaning that this is a very good normal distribution of all the measurements, but there is one unit here that is clearly outside of the distribution, but it doesn't fail. because the limits are too wide. So WATS is also a good tool to dig in and to optimize limits. And by calculation, we see that the plus minus 3 standard deviation is here. So if this were your test limits, you would have notified this unit and recognized this as a failure. WATS also allow you to do easy export to Excel, so you can further investigate the data. So you can pull data from WATS into Excel and get the list of all the serial numbers, the measurements, and continue to work on the data in Excel if you prefer to do that.